In the spirit of Halloween, paranormal or not, what is the scariest, creepiest or most unsettling experience of your life? The following occurrences happened from 2005 to 2014. I never took my house for haunted. I believed in the paranormal enough to study it but never gave much thought to the things that would actually happen to me in our home. I've had boxes lift themselves slightly off the ground, bursts of wind or air rush past me in our basement, and had nightmares so real that I woke up with my mind convincing me that they happened in the past. I have dozens of these stories, but I will never forget this one. Around 2007 to 08 my parents began leaving together to travel in search for a retirement home. I often had the home to myself in the winter alone. One night just before I fell asleep I was whispering song lyrics and heard something crash in my parents' room. Startled, I ran to the next room and found nothing. I assumed it was snow falling on the house and went back to bed. Just before I went to sleep I heard whispering coming from the hallway. I was sure it was someone who broke in trying to make their way into my room. I normally lock my room at night, so I thought at any minute the burglar would attempt to kick the door down. I began shouting "Get out!" over and over again, thinking I would hear them run away. I heard nothing. No footsteps or movement. Finally I got the courage to step out my door and found nothing throughout the entire house. I double-checked all the rooms and closets thinking I would find someone and found nothing. I didn't sleep that night. Having a large helicopter swoop down right over my head in my front yard. Then proceeding to hide in the house while they buzzed it for 30 minutes, with the helicopter often swooping below the tree line and seemingly nothing. Called the police, they said they didn't have a helicopter out. It was a feds conducting illegal searches of all the property in the area for weed. I lived above a bar a few years ago. One time I went out to walk my dog. Upon returning, my Xbox and TV were powered on with an image file displaying of the scene in signs where the two kids and Joaquin Phoenix were wearing tinfoil hats. I never even knew there was an image viewer on Xbox, and to this day have no idea how that randomly popped up. Here's the kicker. So I am a bit perplexed and creeped out, and I decide to go down to the bar and have a drink. The bartender, now a friend after living there, is wearing a tinfoil hat and joking, and also mentions the same scene from the movie. I start laughing and congratulating her on spooking me out, since I pieced it together that she snuck into my place to goof me, which would be a huge breach of friendship and security. However, as I'm feeling slightly relieved/angry, she's clueless as to what the hell I'm talking about. Turns out she never entered my place to load up that image. Keep in mind she wouldn't even know how to load an image on Xbox. She's not a gamer or a techie by any means. Still have no idea what the hell happened that night. I do trust that she wouldn't enter my place randomly, especially while on the job. Very strange. I was having dreams about people falling out of buildings. Then my mom called me to wake me up, because something big was happening on the news. It was the 9th of November 2001. Okay, so I'm like 98% sure my house is haunted, even though we are the only people to ever live in this house. I have had a couple of creepy things happen to me, such as seeing orbs, or hearing things that sounded like someone was walking down the hallway. Anyways, about a year ago this happened. Okay, so I was home alone and needed to take a shower. The drain in my shower was messed up, so I had to take one in my parents' master bathroom. So I'm sitting there on the toilet taking a shit. The room that the toilet was in, the walls were kind of narrow, and I'm a large person, so my knees are touching the wall. To the left of me, on the other side of the wall, is a walk-in closet. To the right of me is like where the sinks are and stuff. Anyways, I'm sitting there on my phone, and out of nowhere up against the wall from the walk-in closet I not only heard, but felt, two bangs up against the wall. It wasn't like someone was softly knocking either, I mean it was forceful, like someone was trying to punch a hole through the wall. 2 seconds later I heard a little girl laugh to the right of me. I sat on the toilet for a good 45 minutes, I was so scared after that happened. Let's just say good thing I was on the toilet when it happened, because it scared the shit out of me, literally. When I was about 13, I was home alone as my whole family had gone out for the night. Around midnight I decided to go to bed. At the time my bedroom was in the basement. The basement was completely unfinished except my room. The stairs leading down there were unfinished and were open, meaning if someone was down there they could grab your feet through the rungs. I walked down the stairs, and just as I was about to step onto the cement floor I heard something go, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. I knew it was one of my little sister's dolls in the line of boxes about 20 feet away, but I wasn't sure what set it off. I went about another 8 feet to open my door and turn on my bedroom light, and then I heard it again, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. I was freaked out, so I ran and turned on all the lights in the basement, which was 3 switches. I then proceeded to rummage through all the boxes until I found that stupid doll. As I removed it from the storage box it went off one last time, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. I flipped it over, took out the batteries and threw it across the room onto another pile of boxes. I went along and turned off all the lights, and then went into my room. I then turned off my light and got into bed. I started thinking how ridiculous the whole thing was, and how I was scared of some stupid toy. What a loser. I was just about to sleep then I heard it one last time, ha 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 ha. Ha. It was like it was using the last bit of its juice to push one last burst out. Like it still had batteries but those batteries were dying, and the voice started normal but then got slow and deep. It was terrifying. I ran upstairs and slept on the couch until my family got home. I had the misfortune of watching 2 stunt planes crash in the ocean. I didn't really understand what was happening since I was young, but I know I watched 2 people die. And it's really unsettling to me. In high school, we went to a supposedly haunted mental institution. The building had been closed for years. There was a large group of us, about 10 people. We're all messing around opening the rusty doors to patients' rooms. We finally got to this one room where it took 2 guys to pry the rusty door open. The group all enters this 12 by 12 room, we all kill our lights, and turn on a tape recorder, old school talk boy. Before we cut the lights the group stands in the middle of the room, but I'm standing next to the door that we entered. After about 15 seconds in the silent darkness, the heavy, rusted closed door that took 2 people to open, moved 2 to 3 more inches with the same rusty noise when we opened it. I jumped from the wall, and the group turned their lights on immediately. Everyone looked at me thinking I'd opened the door more to fuck with them. They were all of the same mindset, until they saw my face and my reaction. That shit unsettled me, and I wanted to leave. I was the only one capable of opening that door more by proximity, and I had not moved from the wall. My first thought was a bum, but we didn't hear anything before it moved. We thought it could have been the wind, but there was 0 air movement in the building where we were. We left the room and explored for a little longer. Then had the cops called on us and we all left. That door moving still gives me the creeps. I still think something supernatural moved that door. When I was about 7 to 8 years old my family rented a house close to the beach for a week. The drive wasn't very long, but as an 8-year-old by the time we got there I really had to feed the porcelain stallion a brown bone. We pull into the driveway and are met by a middle-aged woman who owned the house and showed us the place and told us about the town and what to do, etc. My first instinct is to find the bathroom, so I ask and she tells me it's the second door on the right after the kitchen. Go inside and open the bathroom door to an older guy just standing there looking at me. I kinda ducked my head down, say sorry, and went back outside. They noticed I was back pretty fast and I told them there was someone in the bathroom already. That's when it got weird. The lady looked at me confused and said there's no one else in the house. I explained that I definitely saw someone in that bathroom. After searching the house we find no evidence of anyone else being there. After a while the lady told us her dad owned the house and lived there and recently passed away. She inherited the house and wasn't sure what to do with it, so she started renting it out. Pretty sure I saw that dude. I live alone with my cat in an apartment. One night after having a few drinks, I woke up in the middle of the night to go use the restroom. I go to the restroom, then walk back into my room and notice my guitar is sitting leaned up against my desk. I don't like to leave it out, so I decide to put it back in the case. I turned my desk lamp on, which has one of those bulbs that is very dim at first and gets brighter after a few minutes. So I pick up my guitar and reach under my bed to get the guitar case. At this point it is still very dark in my room, but I can see just enough to put my guitar in the case. As I am kneeling next to my bed putting my guitar in the case, I see a small moving object under my bed. I look at it and in the darkness I can make out what looks like a cat head. I figured it was my cat because he always goes under my bed. I think nothing of it and say, "Hey kitty." I put my guitar in the case and lean the case against the wall. As I turn around to turn my desk lamp back off, I see my cat enter into my room from the door, which is across the room from the bed. To this day I don't know what I saw under my bed.